The story begins with a girl who is relaxing and enjoying a hot water bath. But little did she know that at the same time, a killer dressed in black was lurking around her. She had no idea that her entire life had already been shattered. As soon as she stepped out after bathing, she was horrified by the stench of blood and the sight of her fiancé's dead body. In a panic, she immediately called the police. After filing a report at the police station, her friends also rushed over. Imagine her close friend Eva comforted her and promised to stay with her that night. During this time, the two of them reminisced about the past. In fact, an incident from a year ago might be the real cause of this bloodshed. A year earlier, 5 friends were hanging out by the roadside when the girl's wealthy ex-boyfriend, Teddy, started showing off recklessly. He bragged that he would race against passing cars, claiming that either the cars would stop first or he would move first. The first car somehow managed to avoid him. But then a speeding pickup truck came along. Everyone panicked and tried to pull Teddy out of the way. In the chaos, the driver and his truck fell into a ravine. The friends immediately realized that something terrible had just happened. Stevie wanted to climb down to rescue him, but Danica stopped her. She said this place was already infamous as Death Curve. If they stayed silent, it would just look like an accident. Together, they all swore never to reveal this secret. Time passed, and a year later, Eva returned to the same town with her boyfriend Milo, where her friend's engagement was taking place. That's when another character entered the story, Tyler, who had a big fascination with murder mysteries. She was a girl from a 30-year-old TV series who had come here to investigate. Meanwhile, everyone at the engagement party was enjoying themselves. Danica was opening gifts and laughing as she joked, "I hope there's no check in here." But the joke suddenly turned serious. As soon as she opened the envelope, the color drained from her face. She quickly made an excuse and slipped away to call her old friends. Showing them the letter, she revealed that someone had discovered the truth about their old accident. Someone trying to ruin the engagement celebration. After all, the only people who knew about that accident were the 5 of them. No one else. When they asked Teddy, they found out the handwriting on the letter wasn't his. Panic started to set in. That night, Danica, trying to calm her anger and fear, went to take a shower. But fate had something else in store. The bloody game we had seen glimpses of earlier finally began. Sadly, her fiancé hadn't even been involved in the old accident, but still, he became the very first victim. The next day, the friends gathered again, trying to figure out who was behind this twisted game. Everyone suspected everyone else, but one thing kept bothering them. The new murder matched the old case exactly. Meanwhile, Tyler continued her investigation. She discovered that after that old case, the entire city's reputation had been destroyed. Teddy's father had taken advantage of the situation, bought up the land, and turned this haunted place into a luxury tourist spot. Imagine, a place where bodies once fell is now where couples come to spend their honeymoons. While wandering around, Tyler and Ava reached an old restaurant that was now in ruins. This was the real site of the massacre from years ago. To search for clues upstairs, Tyler went up while Ava stayed waiting below. Just then, the killer in the black raincoat suddenly appeared in front of her. Ava thought it was one of Tyler's pranks, but the truth was something else entirely. The door had already been locked from the outside, and she was trapped inside. Acting quickly, Evan grabbed a knife and slashed the killer's arm. Somehow, she managed to hide and save herself. A little later, when things seemed to calm down, she tried to leave. She screamed for Tyler's help, but the door was still locked. Tyler saw a way up and rushed up the stairs, running as fast as she could. But now the killer was chasing after her like a madman, clutching a hook as if ready to tear his prey apart. Eva, meanwhile, was desperately unscrewing the bolts to free herself from the cage. Tyler finally reached the top, but luck still wasn't on her side. The killer caught her and drove his deadly hook straight through her chest. At last, Eva managed to remove all the bolts and free herself from the cage. She grabbed an umbrella, unlocked the door, and reunited with Stevie. Just as the two of them breathed a sigh of relief, a horrifying sight appeared before them. Tyler's lifeless body hanging in front of them. The shocking sight left everyone stunned, and soon after, the police arrived. But money talks, my friends. Teddy's father, one of the city's richest businessmen and king of the tourism industry, tried to cover up the entire incident with bribes. If the truth came out, his dream tourism project would collapse. Meanwhile, Eva gathered her courage and decided to meet another woman connected to a case from 30 years ago. Julie revealed the truth to her. If they wanted to survive this killer, They would have to expose his true identity. Otherwise, death would be the only way out. As soon as all this happened, a citywide meeting was called, because when they asked about the vehicle, he revealed a shocking fact, that the whole mess had started when the truck fell into the ditch, and that's where they might find a clue. Everyone then headed together to the junkyard where the truck was kept. It turned out the truck belonged to a priest, but at the time of the accident, it was being driven by Sam. Danica and Teddy both went to his cemetery and saw that fresh flowers had been placed there, which meant someone had recently come to remember him. Suspicion deepened that maybe someone close to Sam was taking revenge on everyone. The two immediately demanded to check the surveillance camera footage, but before that, the killer showed up there. Right when Teddy rushed in and saved Danica's life, the killer managed to escape and everyone returned to Danica's house. They decided that all of them would stay together there that night so no one could become an easy target alone. But then Ava's boyfriend Milo went to the car to get a phone charger. When he came back, he saw that all the doors had been locked from the outside. At that moment, the killer strangled him with a rope, knocking him unconscious, and stuffed him into the car before taking him away. Meanwhile, Ava was waiting for him and tried calling. In response, she got a text from Milo's number. Asterisk, I want to be alone. Please don't disturb me. Ava was surprised, but thought maybe her boyfriend really wanted some privacy, so she didn't go out to look for him. The next morning, Steve and Ava went straight to a church in town. Their goal was to find out who had actually been driving the pickup truck that fell into the ditch, since it belonged to the priest. But as soon as they entered, the priest wasn't in his office. Just then, seizing the chance, Danica starts going through the files. Outside, Ava notices the priest coming back. She rushes over to distract him with small talk so her friend can buy some time. Meanwhile, Danica discovers a shocking clue, a photo of the priest and Sam standing together, suggesting they know each other very well. As soon as the priest returns to his office, he suspects someone has tampered with his things. But instead of digging too deep, he simply takes out a book and hands it to Ava as a gift. In the meantime, Danica quickly slips out. Both of them head straight to the police station and voice their suspicions about the priest. But this is where money and power come into play. Teddy's father had already bought off the police. Not only did they shut down the investigation, but they also locked the girls up for no reason. Meanwhile, Teddy was relaxing when suddenly strange words appeared on the glass. He didn't take it seriously and casually strolled around the villa. That's when the killer struck from behind and launched a direct attack on him. Teddy tried to fight back bravely, but after being stabbed repeatedly, he collapsed to the ground. Not a sound could escape his throat, and eventually the killer butchered him mercilessly. But here's the twist. The killer didn't kill him right away. Instead, he used him as bait to lure in his real target, Teddy's father. As soon as the father came to check on his son, the killer ambushed and took him out too. The next morning, when the police learned about the death of such a powerful man, the entire force went into panic. Amid the chaos, Danica and Ava were released from jail. The bodies were found hanging upside down, tied up with ropes. Now Ray advises the three remaining girls to get out of the city immediately. Otherwise, one of them could be the next body. As they leave, they spot Milo's car on the side of the road. But when they open the door, they find his dead body inside. Their hearts broke, but survival came first. So the three of them ducked under Teddy's cover and left the city. Meanwhile, the police suddenly remembered that maybe the priest was behind all this. But when they reached his house, they were shocked. The priest, too, had been brutally murdered. His chest was pierced with an iron rod, and even his eyes had been gouged out. That made it clear. He wasn't the real killer. Just then, the police noticed a photo on the wall. It showed the priest standing with Sam and Stevie. But Stevie had never shared the secret with anyone. On the other hand, Jord was speeding away into the deep sea. Suddenly, Danica got chills. And when O and Ava finally saw the killer's face clearly, their eyes went wide in shock. It was Stevie, the same girl they had trusted the most. She lifted the hook and took Danica hostage. Ray kept trying to talk her out of her madness, but Stevie had completely lost her mind. Without thinking, she drove the hook straight into Danica's chest, and by mistake, she herself fell into the sea. Seeing all this, Ava broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Finally, Ray pulled the trigger, ending Stevie's story forever. Afterward, Ava informed Julie that Stevie was the real killer. But Julie felt something was off. How could Stevie alone commit so many murders? She dug around the internet and found a shocking photo. Stevie and Ray together. Meanwhile, Ava and Ray made it back to shore and were seen relaxing in a bar. At that moment, Ava notices the bandage wrapped around his hand. Suddenly, she remembers that when she fought the killer, he had the exact same injury. Her suspicion is confirmed. Ray is the real mastermind. Ava quietly tries to escape, but the door had already been sealed shut with welding. She tries to get out from the other side, but Ray catches her. Ava's fragile body is no match for him, but cleverly she grabs a glass lying nearby and smashes it over his head. Then she picks up a fire extinguisher, breaks the window, and screams for help outside. But Ray drags her back in and pulls out a knife. Ava fights desperately for her life. Just then, Julie arrives and sees Ava stumbling out, a deep wound in her back, the knife still stuck in her. Ray follows right behind. Julie is shocked to see him because years ago when she survived a killer's attack in Southport town, she had sworn that one day the truth would come out, and now it finally had. The people of the town realized they no longer had to live as puppets of a greedy man. Life in Southport town slowly returned to normal, and the one everyone thought had drowned, Stevie, was miraculously washed back ashore by the ocean waves. In the final scene, it's shown that only two people survived this bloody nightmare, Tanika and Ava. The two of them become the true survivors of the entire massacre. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts. Also subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.